Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to you today about the upcoming 2020 census. I am the partnership coordinator for the state of Kentucky. This is my third decennial census working in Kentucky, and I really have had 10 years to think about what we didn't do right in 2010 and what we need to do right this time to make sure that we improve response rates for our state in 2020. Just to get everybody on the same page, I just want to highlight two reasons why the census is so important: money and power. That's really what it boils down to: funding and representation. As you guys probably know, the census is mandated in the Constitution, and we are required to do an actual count of every single person living in our country every 10 years. And the main reason for that, of course, is apportionment. The 435 seats in the House of Representatives. I need you guys to know that Kentucky had 7 seats in the House of Representatives. We actually lost one after the 1990 census, so we do not want to lose any more representation for our state. But most people don't realize just how much funding is tied to census data. The number is huge. Over $675 billion. Every year for the next decade is going to be allocated to our state, to our local governments, based on the numbers that we collect in 2020. Lots of organizations have been doing some phenomenal research. One of them is George Washington University. They looked at just the top 16 federally funded programs in our state and came up with a number of $2,021 per person as the importance of participating in the census. So I need everybody to think about that for just one moment. I bet everyone in this room can think of a family of 5 that you know living in your county, that for whatever reason that family may be reluctant to respond to the census in 2020. That's over $10,000 every year for the next decade that will not be coming into your communities because one family chose not to participate. I hope you understand how important it is that we get every single person counted in our state. One of our hardest to count populations across America is children age 0 to 4. And the second largest undercounted age population across America is children age 5 to 7. In Kentucky alone, last decade it was estimated that over 12,000 children age 0 to 4 were not counted in our state. Those kids have been growing up. They're now in high school. There was never any funding allocated for them. Okay, I have talked to superintendents across our state, and they all tell me, I can tell you exactly how many kids are in our county because I know how many kids we serve. And our numbers aren't the same as your Census Bureau numbers. And the problem is they're probably right, but it's our numbers, our Census Bureau numbers, that are used to determine the funding that are going into those schools for the next decade. When you hear about overcrowded classrooms and underfunded schools, this undercount of Kentucky's children plays a direct impact on that. This is the amount that's estimated to have, we have missed out in our state over $12 million every year in just the top 5 federally funded programs that serve children. Every single year, we've missed out on that money because we didn't make enough effort in 2010, 10 years ago, to ensure that every child was counted. So think about it, you guys. Here we are at the end of a decade, right? Our schools are overcrowded, they're underfunded, pension crisis is happening, budgets are tight. Would we be where we are right now if 10 years ago we had put a little bit more effort into making sure everybody was counted? That's my concern. I have a very selfish reason. That's my little boy up there in the corner. He's 4 years old. He will be 4 next month. So he's part of that 0 to 4 underage counted population. It's not good enough that I know I'm going to count my child on the 2020 census. I need to make sure that every other parent, Every other grandparent knows how important it is that everyone gets counted in our state. I want to give you the timeline. There is a sense of urgency here. We are 20 weeks away from the census beginning. 20 Thursdays from today, households across our state are going to be receiving an invitation to participate in the census. And for the first time in history, they're going to be offered an option to go online and complete their census questionnaire. The idea is it's supposed to be so easy to complete your census that you can be sitting in a doctor's office waiting room, pull out your smartphone, and take the 10 minutes that it takes to respond to your census. But how can we ensure every doctor's office waiting room in your county has a sign up on the wall reminding people, have you done your census yet? Now's a good time. That's what we need to think about. So here's the actual timeline. March 12th is when we will start mailing every household an invitation to go online and participate in the census. A week after that, we're going to send every household a reminder letter that hasn't responded. A week after that, we're going to send them a reminder postcard. But by April, every single house that has not responded to the census yet, either online or by simply picking up the phone to call, will receive a paper form in the mail. The idea is, we know there's still a digital divide in Kentucky. We know there's still plenty of people that don't have easy access to the internet. So if they haven't responded by April, we want to give them an easy way to do that by sending them a paper form. We're going to send 2 more reminders in April. But the final push in our state is going to be coming right in around Derby weekend. That first weekend of May is that final push in our state that if you have not completed your census questionnaire yet, you really need to. Otherwise, you will have someone coming out to your house, knocking on your door to collect that information. So we, as a state, have to figure out how do we get 4.5 million people in our state to just simply take 10 minutes between March Madness basketball and Derby weekend to respond to the census questionnaire. That's the challenge. That's why I'm here talking to you today. Now, my colleagues have been passing out this paper. Everybody should have one that shows how your county did in previous censuses, how you did in the 2000 census, how you did in the 2010 census. And it shows if you increased or decreased. And this map also shows that. So those areas in blue are the areas that did the best, had the highest response rate back in 2000. The areas in red and orange had the lowest response rates back in 2000. So total, now I want to be clear so that you guys understand what these numbers are showing. These are mail-back response rates. So these are the folks that just simply received a form in the mail, filled it out, and mailed it back to us. This does not capture the people that picked up the phone to fill out their form or the people that went to a questionnaire assistance center to complete their form. But 70% of our Kentucky households back in 2000 responded by mailing back their census questionnaire. We increased that to 75% in 2010, which was fantastic, but we still had several counties that were below 70% of their county's households thought it was important enough to respond to their census questionnaire. This map here shows the differerences. Which counties increased the most, which are in blue, and the counties that had the lowest, or actually a decrease in their response rate from 2000 to 2010, and those are in red and orange. And I gotta point something out to you. The 2 counties, the county that had the highest response rate and the highest increase, and the county that had the lowest response rate and the lowest increase, and the largest decrease, are right next to each other. Those 2 counties were Bell County and Leslie County. So Leslie County actually increased the most, had the highest response rate of our whole state, and I'm very, very proud of Leslie County, and I can tell you they had a fabulous committee that was working on this in 2010. Bell County actually decreased the most. Less than half of their county's population thought it was important to respond to the census. So I'm not saying this to call anybody out. I just want to make sure that you guys understand where we are. So that's why I wanted to pass this out so you guys know what the challenge is, what we need to do. And I would challenge each and every one of you to look at these results from 2000 and 2010 and increase them. Make sure that you do at least 10% better than you've done in the past. We have an opportunity right now, our state, to improve the quality of life in our state for the next 10 years. I cannot stress this to you enough. Whatever numbers the Census Bureau comes up with in March and April of 2020, we're going to be stuck with those numbers for a decade. You guys know Kentucky cannot afford to leave money on the table, and it's not just leaving money on the table. Every person we don't count, that money goes to some other state. They get money that should rightfully be coming into our state. So I hope you get how important this is. We are asking our county judges and our mayors and our highest elected officials all over the state to form what's called a complete count committee. These are the people we're asking them to bring around the table. These are the people that have outreach to our highest elected officials, to our hard to count populations. So take a look at this. If you are in a county that has not formed your complete count committee yet, I'm asking you here today, please get the ball rolling in your county. Form this committee of the right people that can help get the message out in your community. Because we all know our counties are individual. The message that works in Eastern Kentucky is not going to be the message that works in Western Kentucky. It's not going to be what works in Louisville and Lexington. We need local folks that can help localize the message and make sure that people in your county understand what's in it for them, why it's so important for them to take 10 minutes to respond to their census questionnaire. I just got to give a few shout outs in the few minutes that I have left to the counties that have really stepped up and have been helping with this complete count committee effort. Out in Pike County, Judge Jones plans to declare a census day for all businesses to allow their employees to complete the census during working hours. That's brilliant. Letcher County has an outstanding committee. They have a Facebook page. They've recorded PSAs. The city of Pikeville are working on an app that will reach students at U-Pike and at Big Sandy. Campbell County, Judge Pendry plans to pen an op-ed in his county's newsletter. These are ways that you can step up and help in your own county. Hopkins County, Judge Whitfield will be sponsoring a county-wide event that will incorporate all 10 cities in the county, and it will be a 3-day event ending on Census Day. In Crittenden County, Judge Newcomb is almost a one-man show. He has personally worked census tables at football games and festivals. He is out there getting the word out. In Rowan County, Judge Clark chairs his community's committee and even provides his committee members with lunch when they meet. Elliott County, Judge Lewis's committee has assisted with census information tables at over 8 events in their county so far and have more planned. And in Johnson County, Judge McKenzie has taken charge of his committee, attended the training and all meetings that his committee has come up with their county's slogan, which is "Come to your census in 2020. I know, right? It's great. So these are just examples of how you can step up. You guys, this is our state. We need to take ownership of this. Don't just count on the federal government to come in and get it right in your state. And I'm saying that as a representative of the federal government. And keep in mind that we are hiring in every county of Kentucky, good paying jobs. We did not get enough folks hired in Eastern County for our first boots on the ground operation. We had to bring in people from Ohio and West Virginia to come in and work in our state because we didn't have enough people hired. So get the word out about these jobs, and I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.